Are you with me? General formula, people. Then this one here is going to be 1 upon 2x raised to the r. Is that fine? Now here's the thing. The constant here cannot be calculated, so because we don't know what r is. Do you follow what I'm saying? But first I'm going to do a few things. This is where x comes in handy. So since we don't know what r is, I'm going to for the moment drop the constants. Do you follow what I'm saying? Because I don't know what this value would be. I also don't know what is 1 over 2 of r. So I'm going to consider this as x squared raised to the 9 minus r times 1 over x to the r. I'm dropping the constants. But the x is still a denominator, so you cannot just, Now I'm going to write something there, but let me just do this. This is going to be 18 minus 2r times x raised to the negative r. Does that make sense? But what we know is that we are looking for that. So we'll have it equal to x cubed. Then we find our r now. Yes?
Isn't it 2x?
Where are we? Sorry, in the bracket was a 2x.
No,
Yes.
this the one is a.
Well, we know this one.
Yeah, this side on the right. Yeah, 2x. And it's just a x.
But I took away was the 2. Like I took away the constant here. Did I not take away this constant? Because it can't help you. Remember, this constant here cannot help you. The same with the other constant cannot help you. Because you don't really know what is 9CR.
Yeah.
You also don't really know what is 1/2 to the half. So I'm taking that away for now because they're not helping me anyway. Okay? So I'm going to find a way to find that by taking only those variables and writing them there. So 18 comes from 2 times 9 and 2 times minus r. And obviously if you have a minus r here, I think you know. But I know that I'm looking for the coefficient of the term that I've got x to the power 3. So once we plug in our r, right, and we work it out, and we find that answer, that coefficient, whatever that number is, it's going to be the number, the coefficient, but x to the power of 3. You see, this is what we are doing. That's what we are doing. So we want to find what r is there, such that when we plug it in here and here, it's going to generate for the variable x a power of 3. Do you follow? Okay, so in that case, once we have this, because this is key, this part here is very key. This part where you say x raised to the, well, this is going to be nothing but 18 minus 3r x raised to the power, which x raised to the power 3. I can also ask you now questions like when we are looking for x to the 5th, then I'm just going to put 5 here, x to the power 5. X to the power 6, you understand? Then my r will be changing. Because my r will be my position of my term. Okay, the general term. So anyway, here, if you now you can drop the bases, because the indices, the bases are the same, therefore the indices will be equal. So you're going to have minus 3r equals to minus 15, so therefore r equals to 5. Does that make sense? So now that r is 5, you go back and you substitute it now. Because we need to find what? The coefficients. Okay? So I'm just going to do it here. So now it's going to be 9C5. Now, remember the second term? Here, 1 over 2x should be raised to that same power. And the first term, which is x squared, right, should be raised to what? It should be this, whatever it should be, or 4. Now, let's just clean this up. Are you with me? So what is 9C5? 126. You say 126. This is going to be, if you calculate, we're not done people because they see the number here too, right? This is times 1 over, let me just take it, write it over. X to the power 8 times 1 over 2 raised to the power 5 is 32. x to the power 5. Are you with me so far?
I see.
Now that 32 should be marked, you know, so I'm just going to say 126 over 32. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Times x to the power 8 over x to the power 5. What is 126 over 32? Let me ask the question again. What is 9c5? Are you sure? Please check again. 126. And 2 raised to the power 5. So what is 126 over, give me that as an improper fraction. 63 over this one here. 60? 63 over 16 is the not. Now, but the question is asking for what? The coefficient. Therefore,
You see what you did
the coefficient is
still easy. So we are really not interested in the first.
yeah. So I'm going to repeat so you can see the fundamental differences between these questions. This one is a straightforward question. I'm asking you to find the 20th term. Is here you don't know this x cube what term it is. You follow what I'm saying? So for that reason our r will be, you just substitute an r. But then this stuff here should be whatever that second term is in your binomial to the r, and then this one here, this first term will be 9 minus that. And then you play around with the information you're given, x to the power 6. So even now, if I give you x to the power 6, then you just substitute x to the power 6. And then you find a different r, and then you calculate that particular,
Same thing.
what the sixth term would be.
Easy.
Now, there's another way that they can ask you the question.
The end.
This is where I wanted to go to page 87. But I will first give you the opportunity. When I ask you, right? Pay attention here, quickly before you continue. If I ask you x to the power 0, I'll be asking you what the constant term will be, because that will be the term that doesn't have the x. So you probably get the same question, find the coefficient, or they will just say find the constant term of. But there's also another way of asking that. We can say find the term independent of. Look at page 87. B, the term which is independent of x, it doesn't have an x. That's all it means. So when you get a wording like that, where it says find the term independent of the variable, it means x to the power of 0. Because then we are just interested in what that number will be. So you will be still doing the same stuff, readily. You will do the same stuff, but here you're going to let it equal what? X raised to the power of 0. That's why I say we have to look at that example, and then we'll do 1 or 2 questions from there. Is it clear? So, you can see. But first, finish writing. Now, for where am I highlighting this? When you go to, take your in the textbook on page 87, there, the stuff that I just now emphasized.
Yes.
B, if the term is independent of the variable, or of x, in this case the variable is x, then this term is the constant term, i.e. that is x will equal to 0. So therefore, you will be raising, if you look at their b there, can you see that they were now taking the indices there, and then it equal to 0, right? So the same way, like I will be taking the indices here, whatever these indices, but I will just say they equal to 0. So highlight that, it's quite an interesting thing. Did you highlight? In your book, send along. So that lesson is like, this is all the lesson of today, one day. Okay? And they come to my file under that particular topic. So that is why I say, what to write.
like this.
Okay? We are going to wait for Mr. Bradley to clean the board. I'm going to take a quick 200 break. Are we still live? Are we still recording? It would be nice if we can train. I have my Wi-Fi here. Then we train live. So we do something and let us read the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe go.
It is a live class with a smart board and you can see the comments, questions.
Explicit content.
As long as we can.
Explicit content.
You want to go over it?
Really?
Mathematics is powerful. And you know what? Hileni, for that trip, Hileni asked me a question. Last time on this basic, Hileni finished last year.
Oh, that's right.
Because the Binomial they are doing it. So now she was asking me, her text was, sir, I don't remember Pascal, how does it work again? And I said, you know what? You probably have to follow the videos, I'll upload the videos. Because it's not.
They are benefiting.
So these videos are going to be helpful because they are doing exactly the same time.
So we can also help them. We can also help them.
Exactly. So that's why I said, please be on the lookout for this.
That's following.
Because if you are a big company, how much is this book? When you are not there, you need to have this book because maybe they will give you like for you guys, you will be exempted from basic mathematics. She had to be in ordinary level. But for the course, whatever she's doing, and I don't know what she's studying, but she still needs to do basic math. So when you go there, they will exempt you for basic math because it's this stuff that you do. Do you see that? That's what happens.
You'll get from.
Right. I'm going to do try out 46. You can have a look at your example, right? To see how.
I don't understand this.
The example. Okay, let's do the example, right? I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it. Sing it my way. Just want you to do this stuff. All right, that example says, page 87. In the expansion of, I'm not going to write that stuff. I'm just going to write it. Binomial is 2x squared minus 1 over x raised to the 15 in descending powers of x. Obviously, you must not be careful.
Yeah.
Descending powers of x. What was the previous question? No, that one I didn't say ascending powers of x. Obviously, the powers of x will go down because it's a second. It's a natural. The first one is when you're going to go up, but you must be a bit careful there with the first one. Anyway, find A, the sixth term. B, the term independent of x.
Yes,
That is x equals to 0.
X raised to 0.
Right? Which will become our x raised to 0 when we are coming in there. You know. Part C. The term
General.
containing x to the, I can't see, x to the 6. And the reason why I want you to also focus on examples because sometimes you'll be shocked that this happens a lot during the high level question papers. Examples were questions as is in the exam from the series where I was going to which you spend some time on that stuff. So don't just like, don't do it. Right? Especially when you're doing an example. I'm quite careful. What is? Alright, so the very first question, I don't think we have a problem with that. The first question, they are requiring for part A The requirement is the sixth term. So in our r plus 1 equals to 6, r should equal to 5. So then I have, therefore, I'm going to have the sixth term would be, what is 15? C 5. Which then means this term, the minus 1 over x, should be raised to the power of 5. The first one, can I just separate a bit?
Yes.
Just so I can bring in that 50 minus 9. Minus 1 over x raised to the power of 5. And here, I'm going to have whatever the first one is 2x squared. We don't mind what this one is. It's only here where it plays a role. So we're going to have, obviously here, 15 minus 5. Because this answer, does that answer must give you that?
Which is 10.
Okay, this answer is what? So let me just write it down. What is 15C5? Please give me that. 3003 times. This is 10, right? 2 raised to the power of 10 is 1024.
Yes.
Remember that is now 2x squared raised to the 10, which is 2 to the 10 times x to the 20. X to the 20. Minus, I can go ahead and drag that minus out here.
Doesn't matter.
But let me, for the sake of not confusing our compatriots, because it's multiplied by. That's why I say that sometimes if you put the minus there, you might think that it's now dividing the terms into 2. That is why if I have this and this is odd, my answer will be odd. Unless I didn't have any other odd thing here. So I'm going to go ahead then anyway and put the minus there. So this is going to give me nothing but 1 over x raised to the power 5.
Yes.
Okay, so this x on 20 and x to the power 5 will become x to the power 15. You get it? Right, so now our objective is 3,000, negative 3,000 and 3 times 1024, what does it give?
1024.
Please read the number.
It should be negative.
What is the answer? What is the number? What I'm saying,
Negative.
multiply this number with that number on the calculator.
Negative 3.
Okay, do you see how he moves his lips? He goes negative 3. Like a fish underwater. You know when you take out a fish from it tries to. What is it? Negative 307 5072. So KPS kids don't know how to read 3 million.
Negative 3 million.
5. What is this? 3 million?
Negative 3 million.
Okay, negative 3 million, go on. 75,000. Again 72.
Not just 72.
You're going to do a Jacob Zuma now. Is it? Listen carefully. Okay, anyway. But that is the answer. Please don't do commas now. We are in Africa. That is the first part. Does that make sense? Because here they are actually looking for the sixth term. So it is the same like the 2 questions I just gave you, but I say find the 20th term. Nothing to be.
Yeah, this one is easy.
When it comes to part B, it says find the term independent of x, but we don't know what that x to the power. What we're actually looking for is the constant term. Does that make sense? Because a term independent of x. So we need to find what r is. So first, let's write down what we have. So we have got 15 CR. Good. Second one is minus 1 over x r. Can I, maybe I should split, maybe I don't have enough space. Minus 1 over x to the r. And what is the first term? 2x squared 15 minus r. Are we together? Alright, let's just clean up this before we drop those funny things carrying r's. Okay? So this is going to become,
You don't need that.
this is 5. This is 15CR.
You don't need that.
Now I know that there's somebody in this class who doesn't know how to make 5s. Please practice. And she knows exactly who she is.
What's that?
She knows exactly who she is. So it's going to be 2x squared, 15 minus r. And here I'm going to have
So writing it
negative x raised to the negative 1. But I can go ahead and make that negative r.
So
Are you with me? So let's go ahead, because we know what this is, so I'm going to take away this constant, because the 2 raised to that is going to give me some number which I don't know. So I'm just going to work with the x's.
So we take it up.
So x squared, 15 minus r, times. Now here, that's a constant. Negative 1 is a constant, right? Is it not so? It's like negative 1 over 1 x. It's a constant, right? So I know that x is now x raised to the power 1, so I know what x is. So I'm going to take away this constant, that constant, that constant. Yes?
Yeah, sure.
So x raised to the negative r. Let it equal to x to the 0. Because we are looking for a term independent of x. So where we are looking for a number out in the x term. Okay? So that's 30 minus 2r minus r equals to 0. Minus 3r equals to negative 30. R equals to 10. Are we together?
Smart things.
Are we together? Therefore, now I can find my coefficient. It's going to be 15, C, 10. Then, what is it? I'm just going to plug in the values, huh?
Which is
2x squared,
5.
then 15 minus 10,
Which is 5.
then negative 1 over x raised to the
10.
10. So what to find that? Anyway, what is 15C10?
3003.
Say what?
3003.
All day long, it's 3003. What is 2 raised to? Remember that's 5, right? And 2 raised to the power 5 is nothing but 32. Right?
Yes.
And x raised to the power 5. Now this answer will be positive,
Sure.
right? Because anything raised to an even index will be positive. So times 1 over x to the 10. You see what I did there? You know that 1 raised to the power 10 will just be 1. So the x raised to the power 10. But here we have got. Do you understand why we have a little problem here?
Shouldn't we let it equal to? Shouldn't we let it equal to x?
Say what?
Shouldn't we? We're supposed to find.
This answer should get to x is 0. So I'm supposed to have an x to a 10, right?
It's there.
Ah.
You can see. I see.
What do you see?
That's fine.
What do you see here? X squared. So that's a 2, right?
It's a
And
5.
that's a 5.
Yeah.
So there's going to be x to the. Okay.
So
Are we happy? Now, grab your calculator. Multiply 3003 times 32.
96 and 60. Yeah.
What did you say?
It's 96,000.
No, you're saying 96. I was now wondering how the hell is it possible? Anyway, 96,000.
96.
I know what I said. I just. X to the 10 over x to the 10 just becomes 1, right?
Yeah.
So final answer will be 96,000
96.
x to the 0. I'm now being deliberate.
Oh, yeah. No need.
Answer will be 96,000
No need for
and 96.
No need for that.
I know there's no need for that. But we need to show it step by step because you were the one saying, I don't understand other examples. Alright. But anyway, that takes care of this.
Yeah.
Does it fine?
That's
Do you get it? Can I at least take away now this part because now I want to bring in the part C. Because what I'm going to do now on part C, we're just going to focus here. I'm going to focus only on this part, but I'm going to change that to 6. You follow what I'm saying? I don't have to go here because I'm going to drop the bases anyway. So to find my R, here, I'm going to have 30 minus 2R minus R is equal to 6. Minus 3R is 24, R equals to 8. Happy? Too fast for you?
I see.
Okay. If you take the 30 over, it becomes 6 minus 30, which is negative 24. Negative 24 divided by negative 3, hallelujah, amen, is equal to 8. Does that make sense? Are we happy so far?
Yes.
Everybody is fine? Now, we are going to use that. Same like I was using here, but I'm going to put 8 here.
Yeah.
You understand? 8 here, 8 here. Ready? I'm going to put 8 here, 8 here, 8 there. Ready? I'm going to put an 8 here and an 8 here, as well as an 8 there. Are we fine, Bradley? Can I take this part off, Bradley? This part, only this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bradley. We're not going to have any argument with Bradley today. So, Bradley, the term in x to the 6 will be, Bradley, I don't have space to go there, so I'm going here now. Bradley?
Yes, sir.
15C6. Is it correct, Bradley?
No.
Bradley, please.
No, sir.
Do you see how he laughs? Like a little cricket dancing. Should be an 8, Bradley. Because we just calculated. So, 2x squared, 15 minus 8. Bracket 1 over negative x raised to 8. So we need to find. They say we want a term, so my term must have an x to the 6. Huh? Good. Anyway, 15C8 is equal to 6,435. Then this, remember this is now 15 minus 87. 6,000. 6,000. Okay. 6,435, Bradley. This now remember, Bradley. Let me. That is 2x squared to the 7. 2 raised to the 7 is 128. Okay. X to the 9. Are you with me, Bradley? But Bradley is supposed to be 2 times 10. Get it? Don't make a mistake. Now here's the other thing. This is raised to an even, so this answer will be even. Right? So my bracket will be 1 over x to the 8. I don't actually have to put the brackets there, I'm just putting there anyway. Right, so what is 6,435 times 128?
I see the x is there. I see my
Is what? 823,000. 6,600. 680 x to the power 6. You know where it comes from? X to the 14. Maybe I should show that step. Should I show that step? Okay. Let's start a suit. X to the 14 over x to the 8.
When you divide in the base of
And can you read this number again? Pulling the 823,680
So-
x raised to what power?
when you divide in the base
Surely our answer is correct. When you divide, you subtract the indices. When you divide, you subtract the indices. When you have an index raised to a converter, you multiply. So it's very easy to make a blunder and say 9x.
When the bases are
I think this is where we are ending. Now,
yeah.
because we've been stretching you a lot right, today, I know. And there's quite a lot that you have to take in because we have really, if you were looking at this, you probably thought like, oh, this can just be, it can be done in a day. Even tomorrow we can finish this. It's probably not even going to be a need coming Saturday.
Yes.
But we'll see how that goes. But I have included a question on functions. So, yeah, you know, things like the inverse of a function.
So this is way.
It's going to be, I think, 10 or 20 or 30. I don't remember.
31.
Mark, you know, in your 75 paper.
Function.
Mark paper on functions. Alright? If I were you, I would try to. Anyway, now this is what, I know it's not a lot. I'm not giving you a lot. Because I'm trying to, you see, you remember how the first question was from the specimen paper? He was saying in that group binomial, you're supposed to do what? Coefficient of a certain term. Then you just have to go NCR of that. You understand what I'm saying? But the only trick thing there was we were supposed to swap those. Because the term containing X was now in front, and it needs to be the second term. So that it can follow the pattern, the natural order way. The term, because I think that question was it saying ascending or descending? Now, this is very important. Check in your specimen paper. It said ascending. So the moment you put it behind, when I put it behind, those powers will what? Increase. That already was supposed to be like a E. For you to, wait a minute, this other term doesn't have an X, so I need to swap it.
It's a skill.
Now, what the textbook is explaining, there's just one little thing there. Because I've done basically everything, the notation. There is just two things that I'm going to do. If you go back to page 83, which I think you should also have a look at. Yeah? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
You see D. Try now 42D. Now also there's an example 42 which has something similar in n over 3. Have a look at that. Then there's a little note that you need to highlight. When r is equal to 10, blah blah blah, because we're going to use this information. So you highlight that, you try to do D. Okay, should not be a problem. Because your answer will be left in terms of n. Then one more little thing that I want you to do on page 84 at the bottom. 184, page 84 at the bottom. When you have 1 plus x to the n,
1 plus x to the n. I see. So
you see that? When you have 1 plus x raised to the n, it gives you how the binomial will be. 1 plus nc1 x plus nc2 x squared plus n. If, for you to understand that statement, which is 1 plus nc1 x plus nc2 x squared, dot, dot, dot. What is the last one? X to the n. This is exactly what we did when we did the other stuff. Today we had a plus b. Now, what I want you to do is just for a practice purpose, underneath this, when you're writing it down, right? Underneath this, just do a random one like 1 plus 4 to the n, where n can be anything you choose. Maybe you can choose 1 plus x to the power, let's say 5. That's so high, isn't it? And then you do and you see exactly what it means. But then you don't have to do, you can skip some and then do last. Just for you to know what they mean by that particular notation or that rule that you are given. Then the last thing that you must do, I don't know, but I want you to have a grasp of your it's try now for 6. Because I wanted to do question 2 here. But then you said I see the example, so the example that I did is not based, the stuff that I was just doing that is based on that time. So tomorrow our single objective is try now 47 together here in class. Try now 46 we must do at home, plus what I was saying with try now Yeah, 1 and 2. Just those two. Plus that 1 plus x, maybe you make it to the power 5. Then you write it out. Write out the whole thing. But if you can write the whole thing for you to know the rule.
1 plus.
Okay. And also, there was a D that I was saying you must do. Which one is that? Page 83. Just D. That's very easy. That's very straightforward, but there's a reason why I'm saying you must do it. Okay. There's a reason why I'm saying it.
83 which one?
So tomorrow, I think tomorrow most probably we are going to finish this. Alright? We are going to do try out at 47. We are going to do try out 48. It goes up to 59. For 51. We're going to do try out for 49. Then we are basically like done there with the topic.
I see.
Then what comes now are examination type questions. So when you look at try out 51, it deals with the type of questions where
50 also.
yes, where's 50? On top there. Yeah, but that one is in AP. The first 3 terms of the AP, you don't have to do that. That's just revision. I'm not tired of APs and whatever. But if you want us to do it, we can do that. Especially because it's some nice, it's examination style type questions, so you never know maybe it could be a question that we ask.
We will also do this.
Yeah. So 50, 51 in class, and that will be that in terms of this topic. Now, I want you to highlight something for me in your highlighter. Go to page 95.
And 5.
So this is like a summary of everything under the topic, right? But the notation n factorial, n choose r, you see that?
I see.
Next to Pascal's triangle, you see that? Okay, then you have example 3, n1 equals to that stuff there, n1 and n2 equals to n in bracket n minus 1 because it's decreasing. Whatever n, if n was 5, then it becomes 5 times 4, 5, 5 times 4, 5 times 3. Can you see that? I just want you to highlight that 3 based on the stuff that I was now saying to you, that D that you had to do on the other page, on 83, page 83. Then you highlight this so that you can connect what I'm going to explain a little bit. Okay. So you see that tomorrow we will be done with that. Then all that you need to do in order to master your paper that is upcoming, you are going to do now the examination type questions at the back, at the back of this topic and the other topic. And then obviously you can start so long with functions, but when I talk about functions, I'm talking about you can just try a few things. There is a question on functions. This function is based on stuff that was done last year. It's just when it comes to sketching them, when it's a little bit tricky. But last year, in functions on ordinary level, you were actually crafting. You're not going to craft or think anything like that. I might just ask you to find English or something like that to see if you're still remembering that. Because chapter 3 and chapter 4 is ordinary level mathematics. Just some tools added in chapter 3, the sketching part, and you need to know how those functions are. The chapter 4 is coordinate geometry. Okay. Alright, that's the time. Let's pick up. Forget don't forget the work that I gave you. Go give yourselves I don't know, time off, and then try to do the questions that we did so that this stuff doesn't go. Please keep your specimen paper as a reference. Now, can you switch this? Check something quickly. I know you're tired. I know.
I never done. You can do this all day.
Where is my specimen? Yes. When you see your specimen paper, you have got a mark scheme, right? Mark scheme is how the answers are. The B1 is how we mark and stuff like that. I am interested in the description. Now, you have got something here, like the analysis. So this is analysis that was taken from the how the marks were awarded for, that's, I don't know, are you there? Like for example, the topic and the syllabus objective, right? So your examination will be similar, like topic 1, which was equations, expressions, inequalities, and identities. Then What was question 1A? What was B? In your specimen paper, what did it reach? You follow. And when you look at the question number, comes from the paper. When you look at the target grades, you know, a C and E, you see that 4 recognize and solve equation in which is quadratic and some function of x. So these are like the spread of the marks. And those are like the levels of understanding. You understand?
3 months.
It's basically just a summary analysis of that specimen paper. But what it's necessary is you must try to see how the marks are spread, expected total marks on a topic.
Question.
You understand? So we can get a general idea how your examinations will be at the end of the year. But you go with this as we go along. Now, there were some topics that we already did, some questions we already did, like the identities and all that stuff. You guys still remember the discriminant? Stuff like that? You can do those. Alright? But not the very first question. That one involves us to do a little bit more because we are coming up. Good. You can stop the video. No, that's why I'm finishing tomorrow.
Oh my head.
Yeah. We're finishing tomorrow.